This is Find Your Voice, a podcast created for music educators who believe that teaching music is about more than notes on a page. Each episode, we'll talk with educators, leaders, and musicians who are shaping the future of music learning, one voice at a time. Whether you're conducting a choir, leading a band, or teaching little ones their very first notes, this is your space to connect, learn, and be inspired. Find Your Voice is sponsored in part by Dr. Mom Music and Central College. Mrs. Susan Lyons, a high school science teacher at Pella High School. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. And Mrs. Lyons is a trombone player.
Yes, that's where my roots are.
Your
in the
roots.
trombone world. Yes, we'll talk about that.
Yes, we will.
Because they have expanded.
Oh,
yes.
They've expanded.
In my high school career, they expanded for a brief moment of time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so excited to learn all about this. Okay, so tell me, you began your world in the metropolis of Linville.
That's right. Actually, the metropolis of Searsboro, Iowa.
Oh.
Population 104 at the time.
Okay.
But my family, we had a small farm outside of Searsboro. And then when I was going into high school, Linville. But yes, Linville Sully High School, class of 1995.
Okay.
36 students. Music was a big thing.
Okay.
And so that's where my passions started with music.
We are fellow band moms.
Mm-hmm.
And we have daughters that graduated last year together and are first-year students. Carson is a first-year student at Iowa State.
Iowa State, yep.
Yeah. And I have a first-year student here at Central College. And then Susan has a daughter, Peyton,
yep.
at Iowa State.
She's also at Iowa State,
yeah.
Yes.
And then a freshman.
I have a freshman son at Pella High.
Okay.
And I have a seventh grader. Yes.
Yes. All right. Very good. And all of your kids love music.
They do.
Yeah.
I don't know how. It is intrinsic for them, although I will admit they didn't have a choice but to at least try it. I'm a right-brainer proponent because I'm a left-brainer thinker, and I like to see the whole student come out, and it causes you to think in different ways. I mean, and there's a whole studies on that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But
yes.
I told my kids they had to be in one art-related course.
Okay.
All through their school career. So starting in 5th grade, that's typically band. They give band a shot. I have a couple who've tried orchestra and one who's still in it. So we have band, orchestra. It could have been any art, but my kids chose music, and I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yes, very good. And your son Kyler went to New York this summer,
little
right?
Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
It was such an impeccable trip and an experience, and I'm not quite sure he understands all that he got to do. And so 20 years from now, we'll have that conversation.
Right.
Of, do you understand where you played and how you got there? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I'm thrilled. You know, up until this point, I've had music educators on the show.
Okay.
And I'm thrilled to have a science educator here with us today.
Yeah.
But a huge music advocate.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. For all the reasons, not only for in my classroom, because I just think the kids who have been a part of music are able to think differently, have a little bit of grit in my classroom because they're used to repetition and trying and trying and trying again. And so they're a little bit grittier in many ways in the science classroom. So number one, as an educator. Number two is as a mom. I've always told my students and my kids that it's about the sound of the band, the sound of you, and just being a part of something greater. It is a team. You experience it differently in music than you do in athletics. And so I want them to experience that as well. I'm a big music proponent.
Well, we love that around here because it takes a village.
Yes, it does.
So tell us a little bit about your involvement with both music and athletics, because I believe this past summer you were busy. You could be heard on the radio, right?
I'm everywhere. I'm so sorry.
You are
Yes.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Calling the shots with Andrew for softball
Pella
too.
Live. So my history with sports and music go all the way back from my own childhood. My parents never pushed me into anything, but I naturally gravitated to sports. I'm a very competitive person. I played softball. I ran track. I say ran. I didn't run. I did track. I was a thrower. But I was always been around sport. I played in college, which was a ton of fun. Stopped playing music. But then as I had kids, they all had their own niche on what they wanted to try athletically. And my oldest happened to love softball as much as I did. I coached softball at the varsity level for about 14 years.
Okay.
Starting when I was in here at college at Central. I coached over at Pella Christian and down at Linville-Sully Middle School before I took off on my educational career and then coached for many more years until I had too many children to make that successful in the summer. And so as this last season of life has provided its own opportunities, I didn't know that I wanted to step into the coaching arena again because of family life. It just wasn't possible for me to make that kind of time commitment. But when Andrew asked if I would be willing to call the game with him as the color commentator, I thought that was a great opportunity for me to, not only because I know the sport decently well, but I know the kids. And it just felt like a great opportunity to, I tell them, relentlessly root for them on the air and have people hear literally my love of the game and my love of the students in one place. So that's how this athletic part came to be. As far as music, as soon as Peyton hit the recorder and how many 10 15 years ago, that's when it started at home. So and then I've just been a band fan ever since.
Yes. We heard one morning there was an announcement that came that we were going to be going to the Rose Bowl.
Yes. What an exciting morning.
Yes. Do you remember that morning?
I do. I remember that, and I remember going, I cannot believe that I get to witness this after it had been 20 some odd years. I don't remember the last time. 2020 something. 2003 somewhere in there. It'd been 20 some odd years since the Pella had participated in such a great thing. And I was referencing my upbringing at Linville-Sully. Even though we had 36 kids in my graduating class, I distinctively remember there was 104 kids in the band.
Wow.
So if you think about the percentage of kids in music at Linville-Sully in the 90s, it was insanely high. I mean, higher than what we have at Pella right now. I mean, that percentage is off the charts.
Yeah.
And I remember in the 90s coming down to Tulip Time and seeing Pella and going, wow. I mean, we thought we were great. We were just kind of doing our thing, but Pella? And so when I had the opportunity to come here and be a part of this, I've always been kind of wow. And so I just remember going to my own children, do you realize the opportunity you have here? Like, I think students, kids, all kids, they just don't have a clue. They're just so used to being great, being part of great things, that they don't understand that the world around them is looking at them going, you're so lucky. And in many ways they are. They work for it though. Those of us that are inside, we know how hard these kids are working. It just doesn't happen. You have to put it in. But when they had made that announcement for the Rose Bowl, I just go, pinch me. I cannot believe my kids get to go to Pasadena. That's insane. And then it all just kind of went downhill for me. I just became an annoyance, you might say, to Damien Place, because he let me be a chaperone on that trip. I think that's when it all started, when I started going live from Pasadena on Facebook. I just suddenly became somewhat of a mascot, you might say. Yeah, and then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, I think that is kind of when it started.
Exactly
right?
when it started.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I wanted to kind of start there.
Yes.
With our conversation.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know if he regrets it now, but being a teacher in the district, there's something to be said about having someone chaperone a trip.
So we started here. You started in Pasadena.
Yes, going live on Facebook. Yes. Lots of live videos. Lots of people tuned into that. It was bananas. I started getting followers from Pella that I didn't know existed because I would do that on a public live feed.
Yeah.
It was fun. People wanted to know what was going on. I feel like we should have had a vlog going or something. I'm hopeful for the next trip we think through that before.
Yeah.
That actually started people recognizing me as I'm a pretty big fan of the band, pretty big fan of kids. And that's exactly where it all started.
To find the videos referenced on today's podcast, check out Pella Marching Dutch on Facebook and hashtag LetHerMarch on Instagram and TikTok.
I know that you have first hour off.
Yes.
And I've heard that sometimes you don't always utilize that as a planning period. Sometimes you will take your trombone and you'll just show up
I do.
and hang out with the band.
Yeah. So I am really thankful for an administration that trusts my professional judgment in the sense that I think sometimes we as educators have just got to stop being tunnel visioned about our own courses. And because I can get stuck there a little bit, because I do teach a dual credit anatomy and physiology, which is not an easy course. And it takes a lot of prep. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot to set up labs, etc., as well as 3 sections of honors biology. I probably work 65 to 70 hours a week. And sometimes I can't always do that at school. And so sometimes I like to find ways when I am having a little bit of mental burnout of this is just not the right time to still use my time productively to build relationships with kids. So that's honestly where it started. Of the kids would ask me, well, you love band so much. Can you actually play? And I'm like, roll up my sleeves and watch this. And, it started a long time ago. Down in the middle school, I would go, and Mr. Stratton was generous, but Mr. Stratton was in his final educational days. And I didn't want to bother him as much. But when I got to the high school, it was really easy to bother Damien Place. Damien and I feel like he's like a brother to me now. Like we kind of banter back and forth like that. And so I kind of asked permission, but didn't, but kind of told him my why. Like, I want to come in and I'm probably going to bother you on purpose, but I promise to not do it. Read the room, Susan. Like
Sure.
if he's in a situation where I really can't be me,
Right.
I need to be quiet. But there are some days when the band needs a little bit of a laugh too. And he knows that. And I take my trombone down and I just nestle in with the first trombones. I've always had the first trombone in class as well, so it works out for me. I don't practice, so it was a little bit of a challenge for me to get those lips ready to play the trombone again, let alone remember slide position. Oh, but sure enough, I am attempting, and all of the kids in let's be the 11-12 band, would look over and be like, is she actually playing? And, I've got the circle around my lips, so they know I'm playing. The trumpets to my right are like, yeah, she's not playing the right notes. And they're laughing. But yet they're always trying to keep their eyes on Mr. Place, like we're staying in focus because that's the expectation in this class. But yet they're also like side-eyeing me, like, what is she doing? What is she doing? And we end up having a blast. And I will probably like play a note too long just to get him to look our way. Or I'll be like, okay, where are we at? What's happening? What's going on? And just being a turd.
Yeah.
And the kids are laughing. And so it started out as me needing a mental break. And at the same time, it was a win-win because I could continue to build relationships with kids that were non-traditional.
Right.
They're not in my room. I'm in your space. You're not in mine.
Yeah.
And just, building also a relationship that is non-traditional between band and science. That's not a space that typically has a relationship in the educational world. But I also wanted to see kids seeing us banter. And I think they just need to see us in different spaces. So that's how it started. And then it has continued to me being I'll go when it's appropriate. I won't when it's probably not. So I'm glad I have that with itness to know when it is. But at the same time, I think some days Damien's, oh, here she comes. And he's a good sport. I got to give it to him. He's a good sport.
So tell us, there's this hashtag out there, right?
It's genius.
It is.
Hashtag LetHerMarch.
Yeah. So tell us about this.
Right. So last Tulip Time, I just love Tulip Time. I love the marching band. Like literally since we've been in Pella, this is year 15, I think, for me.
Okay.
We've gone to Tulip Time forever. Spectators, I don't get vastly involved otherwise. But literally, we used to sit on the library hill for many years because we lived on Union Street, just down. It was the easiest spot to locate. And you're up on a hill on the library. And I just remember every single time I knew the Marching Dutch were coming that day or evening, you just looking down the street and seeing the plumes round the corner. You knew it was just going to be an epic performance. So literally for my entire 15 years in Pella, it has been, oh my gosh, here they come. Oh, they sound so amazing. Oh my gosh, what a program. Like this whole time. And now I'm in the same building as them, right? I'm literally 3 doors down. And so, and the director's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
What could it get any better? I'm living the dream. So at Tulip Time came around, the Thursday of Tulip Time, I went down to Damien that morning and I said, hey, I have an idea for a funny video. I promise I won't get in your way, but I need you to play along. And I kind of threw the idea at him. And when it started, it was just me wanting to be a part of the band. And Thursday's video was actually quite comical. And we threw it out there Thursday afternoon to TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. And it went somewhat viral for a town of 10,000 teacher in the middle of nowhere. Yes. People loved it. And I'm really grateful that the Pella Marching Dutch social media also shares it. And so it gets out to a broader audience.
Right.
The kids laughed so hard. And so it turned into Friday morning, Damien looked at me and goes, that was unexpected. We had a ton of fun with it. And so that's when Damien said, hey, I think we could actually turn this into something. And it wasn't until after that first video that we decided we could use it as a fundraising platform. So the first one was just me being me. And being a turd to my friend Damien about wanting to be in the band and using Tulip Time as a way to do that. It wasn't until the Friday of Tulip Time that we said, hey, if you let me march, if I raise this money, you're actually going to let me march. That came to be, which is kind of bananas. Everybody thought we knew that all along and we didn't. We only knew it after it was so successful on that first.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that's the truth.
Okay.
We didn't have it in
here,
mind.
folks.
You got it here. But that's how it came. So then when that first video went out, I hashtagged it LetHerMarch and it has stuck.
Nice.
It's funny.
Huh. Oh, very good. Yeah, I did not know that.
So it was just me being me and just making a funny video about, I can't believe I'm late for the band. Surely he's going to let me be involved. And I was circling in and out of it. I was wearing one of my daughter's Rose Bowl flex shirts as I was running down the streets of Pella, and people were just laughing because I'm carrying this trombone, wearing the Rose Bowl flex shirt, normal pants, I think. Yep. And I'm making these videos and people are on the side, they're waiting for the parade to start. Yeah. And they're, what is she doing? And then they saw it on social media and it's funny. It's been a blessing and a curse. Since May, whatever the day that was, I'm going to say it's May 3rd of 2024. I'll have to look back. There has not been a single day that has gone by. Well, that'd be 2025. Excuse me.
Yeah.
There has not been a single day that has gone by in the last 6 months that someone hasn't said to me about those videos.
Oh, really?
I have not been in public a single day. If you can believe that, if I'm in public, someone is saying something about those videos.
I believe it.
Is bananas to me. I don't know most of these people, but they have seen these videos and have now made quite a bit of them.
stop, everybody, stop. I'm sorry. Susan, that is not the visual. Mrs. Lyons, that we do not give this sign anywhere in the show. That is just not what we do. I know it's your first date, but come on.
I got it.
All right, start on the Matrix visual, please. Take it from here to the end.
And now when Damien said, let's turn this into and I don't know that he actually thought it would happen. You'd have to ask him that. I think he threw out this lofty goal just to appease me. So at that time, Pella Marching Dutch needed new uniforms.
Right.
We were on year 12 or 13 of these current uniforms. We knew that we were going to need to do the next major purchase. The fundraiser at that moment was $8,000.
Okay.
And he needed to get that pot of money to $80,000. That pot, because there had been other pots of money that had already been delegated to the uniforms, because you take 225 kids need uniforms, and each uniform costs around $700. That's a lot of money. It's well more than $80,000. But he told me $80,000 is the number he needed this pot of money to get to. And so that one of those next videos said, hey, if you can get to 80,000, he didn't say 80,000 in the video. If you can meet the goal, which I knew was 80,000, I'll let you march. Which in my mind is like, that's never going to happen. Thanks for throwing it out there. The kids thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. The community thought it was funny until they said, watch this, Damien Plays. And the story will then continue to be the next 2 months of my life of LetHerMarch.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. And here we are.
And here we are.
And that goal was met.
The goal was met and exceeded.
Exceeded far by like 40,000, I hear.
Crazy.
With the help of a grant, with the help matching donors.
Yeah.
I could not believe it as I saw that number go. I could not believe the amount of people that thought that was so funny. They're going to donate $5. Actually, I only asked for $1.
Right.
When I did
That's
it, I
where
said,
it
if everybody
started.
just give
Yep.
$1 to
Yep.
this Venmo, and it was the band Venmo account. I always made very clear, it's not coming to me.
Right.
It's going to the band, I promise. And so they made a band Venmo account, which really helped expedite a lot. And people were just sending $1, $5. And that's really all it takes when you think about it.
Yep.
I wish that would be more of people's thinking, that they don't have to give extravagant gifts. But there's also a lot of companies and corporations in this town that were very generous. They always are with our extracurriculars for both schools. We're very, very, very blessed here.
We are.
And for a few of those companies to give matching donations for their employees, that was huge. So when an employee gave $100, their company turned around and matched it for another $100. And I just couldn't believe it. That account grew exponentially in just a matter of weeks. And I never dreamt. Maybe Damien did. He'll probably say he knew it was going to happen because that's how he rolls. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. We still kept making videos, but it was the Women's Business Club that sent us over. They were probably the most generous at that moment, at the right time when I was so close. They called me on a summer evening and said, how close are you? And I gave them the number, and they showed up the next day with that check in hand.
Wow.
Yeah, I was blown away.
Oh, wow.
And I was just so happy for the kids. And the kids happened to be at, I think, their June band camp the day I got that check. And I just went and walked it over and said, here you go. But the donations didn't stop because I had other businesses going, hey, come my way. Let's make a video together. And those were some funny ones.
Those were great.
Of course, I think they're funny. I don't know if anybody else thinks they're funny, but
great.
it was a ton of fun. That's what I can say. It was a ton of fun.
Good. So who did all of the videos for you?
Right. So at the beginning, in the Tulip Time videos, my daughter Peyton was home for the weekend, and it's just a bunch of small clips that I take. So most of those clips are less than 30 seconds long, and I just put them together. But my daughter Peyton was one that would take all of these clips, and sometimes multiple clips. So many videos on my phone, many of which I haven't used yet, which is why I can go and piece different ones together. I just do a bunch of different ideas, a bunch of clips. And then for a few of the more complex editing things, and then quite honestly, I'd use my own students at school. They'd come eat lunch with me. As you know, I had a lunch bunch.
Yeah.
And I'd say, this is what I want the video to do, to say, or look like. And I'd hand my phone to one of them and say, help.
Okay.
And they were much better than I was at times, and they taught me a lot. So yeah, it was a lot me and a lot my daughter and a lot my students.
Nice.
Most of the video clips, especially the other morning when I was with the marching band, I literally handed it to one of the color guard members and just said, just video this.
Nice.
They think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, here we are. We're making another video. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
And they can do it so
They can.
easily.
It's so easy. Just video me.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is just stand here.
Nice. Oh, I love that. I love it. So overall, if you thinking back to the Rose Bowl, kind of where
Yep.
it started and where you are now, what's been the biggest highlight?
Oh, that's an impossible question. The Rose Bowl honestly was the highlight for me so far. I tell the kids it's going to be hard to beat that Rose Bowl field show for me. Thought it was an insanely good field show. I liked the really big moments in that show, not only visually but musically. Thought it was just insanely written. This year's show is pretty darn close.
It is.
It's just so different than the Rose Bowl show. This marching band has changed
It has
in the last
already.
4 years alone.
Yeah.
I think if we were going to the Rose Bowl with this show, it'd be close. But the highlight for me so far is definitely Rose Bowl 20 whatever that year. That's 23.
Yeah, 23.
Yes, that's been a highlight. But honestly, the highlights along the way are just the relationships I'm building with kids, just in the mundane.
Yeah.
There are so many students that I don't have and I don't know that are coming up to me in the hallways and giving me high fives and saying, when are you going to march? Or they're wearing the t-shirt that says LetHerMarch and they're so proud to be wearing it. So I would say that's a highlight because I think, we all want to be seen, known, and heard. And for some of these kids, they aren't in anything else but music. And when you're a part of something so big, like the Pella Marching Dutch, or our choir program, which is also insanely large, or our orchestra program, when you're in part of those things that are so large, sometimes I wonder if they think that they're not seen individually. And so when they come up to me individually, I think that's honestly a highlight because I think they truly believe that I'm seeing them. And it's true, I do. Don't know their names yet. I will. I'll get there. But that's also been a highlight of rooting for kids I don't know. That's been a surprising highlight for me. I think that they are really enjoying it. I went and I was a keynote speaker Monday morning for Pella Middle School.
I heard that, yeah.
You heard about that?
My daughter told me, yeah.
And a few of those kids yelled before, "Let her march." And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's all the way down here at the middle school. How fun is that? So when I say I'm relentlessly rooting for you, any kids, not mine in the classroom, my own children, or just Pella schools in general, I share on my socials all the time, any daily, my kids being promoted for cross country or volleyball. I'm sharing. So the highlight for me right now is rooting for kids. So beyond the Rose Bowl, beyond the big, I think the highlight is just rooting for kids and kids who maybe aren't typically seen.
That's beautiful.
That's the best part of education.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of kids that are in the spotlight a lot, and usually some of those kids are in the same things, and they're celebrated a lot. And so I just genuinely hope that the kids that weren't typically seen are seen. Yeah.
And they need that.
Everybody deserves to be heard and known.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
You're just in awe of what high school kids can do.
Oh, yeah.
It's mind-blowing when you
it really
put
is.
the sound they can make, the visual effects, the color guard. I'm just in awe what band has become.
Correct. Yeah,
It's
really
way different.
It is metamorphosized.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so exciting.
I mean, I can't minimize my own children's accomplishments along the way. I'm really proud of them,
Yeah.
but it's not marching band related. Carson was a drum major. That was a huge highlight for us to
Yes.
watch her step into a leadership role that grew her in many capacities. Peyton, Carson, I don't want to diminish this. She was a 2-time All-Stater.
Yes, she was.
One of those years did not go like we planned. One of those years was a no. One of those years was a no, and then later that night became a yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, she was an alternate.
Oh.
And then one of the other centers decided, They didn't have what they wanted, so they called because she had the next highest score. So she got a call that night and became a yes. And then her senior year, it was a solid yes and ended up in the orchestra.
Yes.
And then played a euphonium solo.
A huge
Mind
yes.
blown.
Huge
She had a lot of success in jazz band with Jazz One. So I don't want to diminish my own children's accomplishments. And then for Peyton, she was a 2-time clarinet all-stater. And then next weekend, Kyler's going to try
All
for
right.
his first round. And that's all of
Good
those
for
things
him.
those processes are so grueling for kids.
Oh, it's tough.
And it's a tough day, and they learn so much about themselves. They learn so much about their instrument. They learn so much about music. Just the process of doing it is a great thing.
Absolutely.
But as far as when you're dealing with the emotions of 14 to 18-year-old kids wanting something like this and then not getting it, or having callbacks and auditioning, and it's just a grueling emotional process as well. So those are all highlights for me as well. I don't want to diminish that. Jazz band is also a highlight for me. Jazz champs. I'm just always so amazed with the music programs. Yeah. And, I've had kids in show band.
Oh, yes.
Can't forget about show choir.
Yeah.
With the show band that you never really think about until your kid's in it. You're like, oh, yeah, they need the music too. So it's just great.
So fun. Well, thank you so much
You are
for
welcome.
joining us today.
Yeah.
And for being such an advocate for music.
It's so important. I just cannot say it enough. The kids who do music are just some of the greatest kids that I teach. They're just different-minded kids. And it's not always celebrated as much as it should be. I think that's where I land. And so I just want to celebrate them. Like, you don't have to be the quarterback. Because being third clarinet in the Pella Marching Dutch is pretty darn cool.
That's right, it is.
Or if you want to be trombone number 29 like I do, that's also equally cool. But celebrating kids, celebrating music, I just think we just can't get enough of it. And we just need to continue to do that and advocate for lifelong learning in music, especially just developing music educators. We can't not continue to do that. We need educators in general.
Absolutely.
But when we think about music education, we need great people in the K-12 roles to grow these programs.
Yes.
Because they can be dying in certain parts of our state and around the country. But we're lucky to be in a place where we celebrate that.
Yes. Yeah.
So
we are very fortunate. And on that note, we celebrate here in our state so many wonderful programs. And we know that there were this summer 40 schools that were looking for music educators.
Wow.
And we want to make sure that there are programs filled. And so we are working hard at the state level to make sure that there are music educators that are both at the collegiate level and going forth ready, prepared.
Right. It's an art that
teach.
Cannot die.
100%.
And it cannot be cut. It just, and I'm one of the core classes. I get it. I will probably always be there. Maybe, people focus around math and reading. We are the application of that. But there is so much growth that happens in the arts and physical education, in our CTE courses, and all of the other classes surrounding the core. Develop the whole person. And we need to continue to develop whole people in every capacity, K-12. So in your post-secondary world, we just can't not afford to continue to develop these programs. Yeah. So someday maybe have Damien Place on and get his version of the story, and then we can do a mesh. We can like, oh yeah, I'm curious.
He is slated to come. So we'll get his side of the story and then we'll compare notes.
I would appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you very much
Sounds
for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks
All
for
right.
being a proponent for all things. All right.
Especially the Pella Marching Dutch.
Darn right.
All right. Take care, Susan.
Yep. Thank you.
Before we wrap up today's episode, we close with a segment I call We Must Pay It Forward. Inspired by Amy Poehler's Good Hang, this is my favorite part of the show, because instead of asking a question about our guest, someone else gets the final word. It's a moment to simply say thank you, to recognize the teachers, mentors, and advocates who keep music alive in our hearts and our communities. Because when we share gratitude, we pass the music forward. Susan, thank you so much for joining us today. We have 3 guests who want to surprise you with their gratitude for all that you've done for the Pella Marching Dutch. So, Alicia Jablonski, Ben O'Halloran, and Jolie Helly, you get the final word today. Mrs. Lyons, surprise, we get to tell you thank you.
Hi, this is Alicia Jablonski, and I am so happy to be able to share what a treat it has been to witness Susan Lyons' impact on not only the effort to get our students new uniforms, but also on the students themselves. I've had the blessing to work with Susan the last couple of years at the high school, but have been witnessing her deep love for the Marching Dutch and really anything student-related for much longer than that. She is the best encourager and supporter. When you throw in her great sense of humor and gift of creativity, it's no surprise that she has been able to gather the following and support for our students. While being able to fund the new uniforms is amazing, I think all of this goes much deeper than that. It comes down to Susan fiercely and deeply loving her students. We all get the privilege of witnessing that love on display through her willingness to put in extra time and effort to make us laugh and notice a need. So the uniforms can now be purchased. Now the need is for all of us to get to see Susan march. I think she's earned it. Thank you for loving our students, Susan. You are the best.
From the Pella Marching Dutch, we thank you so much, Miss Lyons, for all you've done for us.
We'd like to thank you for your continued support with our organization. You've done so much for us. We love you.
All of your contributions have been great and positive, and we couldn't have been here without you.
We love that you get to make silly videos with us. It really makes our day.
Thank you, Miss Lyons.
Find Your Voice with Dr. Mom is produced, edited, and engineered by Dr. Sarah Van Woordhuizen. Music composed by Dr. Sarah Van Woordhuizen. To book with Dr. Mom, email dr.mom.music4@gmail.com.